What's going on, guys? Tempo Trades here. Today I'm going to be going over some good IFVG setups and some bad IFVG setups. I'm going to show you guys what I look for, kind of my thought process while I'm looking at these 5 or 6 setups, and hopefully you learned something. So leave a like and let's get right into it. Okay, so right here, just going straight into it, this is the first. These first three are going to be pretty good setups, and then I'll go into some setups, and then finally we'll go into some bad setups. So this is a really good textbook setup right here. This is off of a low of day sweep. So like I said in my previous video about IFVGs, my main confluences are low of day, high of day, and the London and Asia high and lows. So whenever I get a sweep of those, usually they happen every single day. I really look for the reversal, and if we get great momentum with that reversal and a nice bullish or bearish candle through the gap, that's my bread and butter right there. So if we look right here, as you can see, we sweep low of day, we get a crazy reaction out of low of day, right? We close over with one gap. It doesn't take us a long time to get through this gap. We close right over the gap, and then we go for about 40 points. Yes, this right here stopped out at break even, but still, 40 points, really great trade, really great setup. We swept the low of day that was put in, 2 hours ago, and we get an instant reaction. That's exactly what I like to see. So going on to the next setup. This is another good setup. Again, this is another low of day sweep, but again, this is also, we're not even only sweeping low of day, we're also sweeping the low that swept Asia low. So that's just another thing right there. Again, once we sweep that right here, I'm looking for this bullish reversal. We get about, a couple candles through this gap, so not as strong as the previous play, but the gap is bigger. So that's something else I like. Once we close over this gap, we create this BPR, which is a very strong PD array. And then we go on and we hit every single profit target. And then obviously the last profit target for me would be high of day. And we hit that. So again, this is a great setup. Just seems like we're only longing here, but I mean, that's it. It is what it is. So this is an all right setup. Okay. Now the reason this is an all right setup is because the best setup would be down here. Okay. The best setup would be down here in discount. As you can see, again, we swept Asia low, we swept London low. Once market open, I'm looking for the bullish reversal. This is a really nice gap. It looks pretty obvious. It looks nice and big. We close over it. This would have been the entry down here. Unfortunately, I didn't get that entry. Instead, I took an all right entry. It's kind of in the middle of this range. It's not in premium. It's not really in discount. It's in the middle. So, I mean, the risk to reward is all right. One of the main reasons I took it is because of how big this gap is. I was really confident that on top of these sweeps from overnight lows, if we pushed through and closed over this huge gap, we would go seek at least this high, if not high of day. Or not high of day, but this pre-market high. And that's exactly what we did right here on this trade. So this trade was not as good as the others. I would give this, a B, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. And then if we go into the next all right setup, this is, again, not the best setup. The reason this is not the best setup, and, I don't care if it works, right? Whether you win or you lose, at the end of the day, you want to take the best quality setups that fit your checklist, that have all the confluences you use, and then you just need to live with the results. You're going to win, you're going to lose, but as long as you know your model has an edge, you're going to make money in the long run. So even though this play worked, this is not the best setup, because as you can see right here, this red line, we came down, we missed the London low sweep by about 5 to 6 points, and then we got the move we wanted if we would have swept London low. And on top of that, we left these equal lows right here. So yeah, this play worked. But again, I would really, really like to see this sweep taken, this area taken first, and then I would be interested in this long move. So again, not the best setup. Okay, now we're going to get into some bad setups. Just some setups I just wouldn't take on a funded, probably not even an eval. So I have 3 examples here. Let's get into the first example. The first example would be this long right here. And the reason why I don't like this long is just because what we're targeting, right? This right here is high of day. but high of day just got put in, right? Let's look, 10:07. You know, high of day just got put in 14 minutes ago. There's not going to be that much liquidity there. So this is just not a good trade, right? The initial sweep, maybe just retargeting the high of day that swept the previous high of day, not the best target. Yeah, we got this low of day sweep technically, I guess. We also, again, just like the last trade, barely missed the London and Asia areas, so we didn't sweep. So I would not ever take this long. This is just a shitty long in the middle of nowhere, and this one failed. So that's why I don't like it. Another play I really don't like, this would be this short right here. So as you can see right here, the reason I don't like this is for a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, we sweep Asia. I think this is Asia high. Yeah, we sweep Asia high, right? So now I do want a down move, but this would be the ideal down move, right? You know, this first gap entry right here, but that gap entry failed, right? That gap entry failed. So now it's like, okay, we get this manipulation leg lower, or we get this manipulation leg higher right here. We create this gap, and now it's like, okay, you could take this short to try to get this again, but I would really like to see another resweep. Again, even though, like I said in my last trade, this high just got put in, you're entering this short really on no sweep. And on top of that, look how small this gap is. This gap is, I can check. This gap's 3 points, right? I showed you guys in the previous examples. If you want to go back, I like my gaps to be 8 to 12 points realistically. The reason being is when gaps are 8 to 12 points and you can close over them, and even close over them in one candle or close under them in one candle, that gives me confidence that, you know, that PD array is getting disrespected and we might be hitting a reversal, right? A change in direction, if you will. But if you have a 2-point gap, a 3-point gap, you know, NASDAQ moves very violently a lot of the time in the New York session. It could be a coincidence. It could just be luck that we can close over this or under this gap. And it doesn't mean that we're going to get the reversal you're looking for. So, you know, for those reasons, we already had the failed Asia move from the reversal. We come back up. We don't sweep anything. And then we inverse a really, really tiny gap. Just don't like it. You see right here, we inverse this 1 minute right here, and then it failed. So, okay, last but not least, here we go. This is the play from today, actually, or the price action from today. You know, we dumped about 500 points. So this was the start of that move. And this is something very interesting that I want to point out, guys. This is where I took my trade today. I took it on the 32nd. If we look right here, we swept Asia low. The gap isn't going to load, but there's a gap right here. Was not big at all. The reason I took it was just because of the bullish reaction. It was not a great setup, probably a C setup or a B setup for sure. But because of how instant, we literally swept it, went under by maybe a tick, had instant strong bullish candles. So even though the gap was not good at all, I decided to smack the long and I got my TP up here. But regardless, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, you know, we only went up 45 points after sweeping Asia high. You know, I kind of want to see these equal highs. I want to see high of day. I'm going to keep looking for these longs. You know, you can get hurt. You got to be really careful because once we start dumping, right, and you see that we're dumping over 100 points after sweeping a major liquidity area, you can't just keep trying to predict the reversal. At some point, you got to stop trying to fade the trend. Because as you see here, we just kept dumping. And let's just say now you're still looking for the reversal. You're still looking for the reversal, you know, whatever the case may be. We swept Asia area. If you would have just taken this gap, like let's look at this, for example. Okay. This is a great gap. It's a nice big gap. This is a nice big gap. This is the size I'm looking for. You would have entered right here. Stop loss under the gap. You know, you pretty much stop out right away. This gap's on the 1 minute. Let me revise that. Right. So entries here, you pretty much stop out right away. And, you know, the reason being is just because, like, you have to disregard this at this point, right? You have to just disregard that. Yes, we swept the Asia area. It's a major liquidity area, but we have dumped so much and disrespected it so much and just shown that the trend is bearish that you can't predict the bottom and look for the reversal still. You have to abandon that idea, you know, and even look at this momentum. This is amazing momentum. Look how strong this candle is right here. We go through it in one candle. It doesn't matter. A couple candles later, we fail. So that's just another thing, guys. So if I were to wrap it up and just sum it up really quickly, I would say when you're taking IFVGs, you need to have confluences. You need to have a major liquidity sweep. You need to have some SMT. You need to have good movement and displacement through the gap. You know, you set those things up, maybe a couple other things. Maybe you can use premium and discount and stuff like that, and your IFVGs will have a higher probability of playing out. But if you just take IFVGs in a choppy range with no real draw on liquidity, in bad premium or discount, you know, it's a bad area, the value is not good, you won't be profitable with this model. So that's what it's all about, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.